Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lavender, aka Rainy Fairy. First of all, I wanted to say thank you so much for 100 subscribers. I'm really excited. That's like my first milestone, even if it's like a baby one. Shout out to my old manager Sean, who's my 100th subscriber. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who checked out my song. Like, I would really appreciate if you would add it to your playlist if you're one of those people that listen to music on YouTube. But if you haven't checked that out already, listen to it, give me your feedback on it. I'd really appreciate all of that. I'm not at a place where I'm ready to like upload to Spotify yet for financial reasons and stuff like that. So YouTube is where it's gonna be for now. So thanks to everyone who showed that video some love. Today we're gonna be talking about kind of a heavy topic, especially for Cody fans. You can kind of guess where this is going. A little bit ago, D'angelo just put out a video titled An Uncomfortable Conversation About Cody. When I first saw this come up on my feed, I didn't think a lot of it just because I was like, this is classic clickbait. Cancel culture is like super popular right now. It's not unheard of at all for people to start beef about bigger names for clout. So I was just like, you know, it's probably nothing to take that seriously, but I was driving on my route at work, so I was like, I got time, curiosity got the best of me, I might as well check it out. And I was actually pretty disturbed with what I heard and saw. So I'm just gonna kind of react to that today because he already covered everything perfectly, but I think it's important to kind of look at it from a fan's perspective, just because I'm someone who was a big fan of Cody for over a decade, just a long time, as a lot of people were, and a lot of people were really inspired by him. He's an influencer. There's a reason they call them influencers. So this is really heartbreaking to see, but enough of my banter. We can comment more on it once we get into it. So let's just watch it.
All right, Cody, let's have an uncomfortable conversation. Someone has been alleging for years now that you, one of the largest commentary creators on YouTube, knowingly committed a crime against her when she was a minor. But YouTubers and viewers alike are ignoring and discrediting these allegations solely because the person making them happens to be an unlikable woman online, Tana. And you know that people are ignoring this because nobody is working harder to bury this story than you. And you're getting away with it because commentary YouTube has a serious problem. I can't blame any of your viewers or my viewers for not hearing about this because you've done such a good job hiding it up until now that I only found out about it recently. The situation has been talked about by smaller channels, it's been discussed at length on other platforms, and it keeps almost hitting the mainstream, like with this Rolling Stone article or this H3 podcast discussion. But the reason it hasn't caught on yet, despite all of this, is that none of your friends, nobody on your level, nobody in the commentary niche with enough pull is willing to admit that this situation makes you look terrible.
A lot of people like him a lot, and they really are like doing any kind of mental gymnastic to just ignore it.
I'm not here to accuse you of committing a crime in this video because I can't do that based on someone else's allegations. Nobody can definitively take these allegations as proof, but at the same time, they should still be looked at and not treated as an open secret and swept under the rug like you've been doing for so many years now. And from the way the situation keeps popping up more and more often, it's clear that there's only so much rug sweeping you can do before people start taking a closer look at things. So let's take a closer look. We both know that Tana is a YouTube personality with a history of lies, controversy, and genuinely problematic behavior that's become so entangled with her brand that her podcast is called Cancelled with Tana.
Thing about this is like, there's a big chance that, you know, it could be all made up. If Tana, I personally don't watch her, but if she has a history of just straight up lying to people and she's, you know, popular for her controversies and for starting drama and for canceling people, I understand why it can be hard to believe somebody like that, but at the same time, if it wasn't true, then why hasn't Cody addressed it already? Why has it been swept under the rug? I really did not want to believe this when I was watching this the first time. It's just hard to believe because like a lot of people respect Cody. He's really good at seeming like just a really great person. I'm sure it's not hard to make yourself appear like a good person in a couple YouTube videos.
She hosted a live episode in front of an audience, and the conversation turned to you.
Who's the smallest you've ever had sex with? Oh my god, no one look at me, Cody.
See, right here, like, this is what kind of makes it, like, believable, because she didn't really, like, hesitate that. I mean, unless she planned to say that beforehand, unless she, like, knew what her interview questions were gonna be. But, like, she was just so quick to answer. She was just like, oh, Cody, like, right off the bat.
This clip started making the rounds and people were understandably perturbed because if Tana was 17, you would have been 25. So people started speculating and Tana decided to set the record straight.
I hooked up with Cody when I was 17 and he was 25.
She claims that not only were you fully aware of her age at the time, but someone even tried to stop you and you went ahead anyway.
There was a situation with Gabby Hanna at a playlist live where she pulled him aside and told him like, yo, she's 17. And then we still went and hooked up.
To be clear, 17 is under the age of consent innocent in many states, including Florida, where Playlist Live used to take place. So this means that Tana Mojo is accusing you of statutory rape, and she's not trying to hide that.
This isn't just some crazy tea. It was a crime.
Nothing would make this situation better, but plenty of things make it worse, like the fact that she was a fan of yours at the time, adding an additional layer to the power dynamic you would have had over her.
I grew up loving him, and I think you know what I mean? Like, I was just like excited and a fan.
Tana seems to have many feelings about this, which we'll go over a bit later, but she stated very clearly that the actions she's accusing you of are inexcusable.
See, it's one thing if you're like, you know, you're 17, you're excited, you know, like your favorite YouTuber wants to hook up with you. Like, Cody's an attractive guy. He's a really popular YouTuber, has been for many years, and a lot of people think he's really cool. I used to think he was really cool. A lot of people, you know, like a lot of people would jump at the chance to hook up with Cody Co. But she was 17, so like even if it was like consensual, it wasn't, because most places 17 is under the age of consent. So even if she thought she consented at the time, you can't consent if you're a child, because, you know, like your brain isn't fully developed and you don't fully understand what the situation is. Because if you're a child and he's an adult, it's his job as the adult to say, no, this is a child. It's the adult's responsibility to not allow it to go further than that. And especially if he was confronted by the friend and she pulled him aside and let him know, and he still did it. Like, he had so many chances to just not fucking do it. And, you know, like, I liked Cody, and so my brain wants to automatically go like, oh, well, he was young, so he didn't. But no, he wasn't. He was 25. He's, like, going on 30 at that point. There's no excuse. Like, even me as a 21-year-old, sorry, if a 17-year-old wanted to hook up with me, even if the person was, like, attractive and I didn't know that they were underage, and then his friend is like, oh, sorry, he looks way older, but he's 17. I'd be like, oh, holy fuck. And, like, immediately, like, that's a sign to fucking step back. I could go on a rant about this. I'm sure, like, feel like I'm not getting out what I'm like trying to say, but I think you get what I'm getting at.
If I had a 17-year-old daughter or a little sister or something, like, I would kill. I would never let it fly.
These recent allegations are bad enough on their own, but there are a couple of things that make them worse still. Things that many people don't know yet, but you do. You know that Tana has been making this same specific claim against you for years now. Here she is back in 2021 saying the same thing.
I was 17 at the time, 18. I started kind of hooking up with other people. Shout out JC Kalen, shout out Cody Co.
But what lends the most credibility to Tana's claims, and what is really the most damning thing for you, Cody, is a clip that you might not have even seen yet. See, I read the Rolling Stone article, I watched the YouTube videos about this, and they all missed something. And I understand why. The clip I'm about to show you is extremely hard to find. The original has been lost to time, and it's a wonder we have this on video at all. But if there was anything to give me any more clarity about these allegations before I formed my opinion, I was going to find it. Remember how Tana said that fellow YouTuber Gabby Hanna tried to stop you before everything allegedly went down? Well, did you know that Gabby is actually on record telling the exact same story several years ago?
One time, I told a guy, I saw him making out with a girl at a party who was underage, and I pulled him aside and I was like, hey man, you probably don't know, I know she like looks a little older, she's underage, watch it. And he's like, oh my God, thank you for telling me. And then he turned that.
See, that right there, like, he even was like, oh my God, I didn't know, thanks for telling me. And then still fucking went and did it. There's a witness saying the same thing, telling the same story years before this controversy came out. Like, this was not new information, it's just barely surfacing because clearly somebody's been trying to keep it a secret. And that's why it's just like, I want to believe Cody didn't do it, but like it is what it is. Like, everything's right here. Even the fact that she didn't name drop him was like, it wasn't a clout thing, it wasn't to start a controversy. She didn't even name drop him in that video. She was just like, yeah, there was this fucking guy at a party. It's hard to not believe it when there's all these people coming out and saying the same exact thing. A lot of times it takes a long time to process it too. Like, obviously it's not a controversy until now, and maybe she's tried to speak out about it before, but it's just kind of been censored by Cody. But like, also as someone who's been groomed, like, you don't really see it that way until years later, because you're like, oh no, well, I had a crush on him, it was consensual, I wanted to. You grow up to be that age as the person who did that to you, and you're like, holy fuck, like, I would never go for someone that age, ever. And you just see it from the adult's perspective and you see how fucked up it is. And so a lot of time when you're groomed, you don't really process it or see it that way until you're an adult.
People make accusations all the time, specifically regarding things that are very difficult to prove or disprove, unfortunate as that may be. But when somebody makes an allegation and they say they have a witness, and that witness can be found telling the exact same story years before any of this came out, that's not something I can just ignore. In a situation that cannot be proven, corroboration by a third party goes a long way. And frankly, Cody, the allegations against you seem to have been corroborated. But instead of researching to find these answers like I did, many of your fans seem far more interested in attacking your accuser.
I have seen so many comments, but what was she wearing? It's Tana, so who cares? Well, it's Tana Mojo.
The reaction to this has been unsurprising but incredibly disappointing, demanding proof that they know she can't provide, acting like she's only doing this to gain clout or ruin you somehow, despite the fact that she's never once put your name in a video title over this, or worst of all, implying that a 17-year-old could have truly consented to any of this. But let's be clear about one thing. That is not the case. No amount of retroactive age calculations or what-if scenarios change the fact that what Tana described would be, objectively speaking, a crime. A crime which you've said absolutely nothing about. And even if this wasn't illegal, you remember being 25. You would have known then, as I currently know at age 25, that nobody this age should need an explanation for why a 17-year-old is off limits. Because you remember being 17 too.
That right there, what he just said. I'm 21, and even I could not comprehend hooking up with a 17-year-old. When you're 25, that's going on 30. There's no fucking reason that a 25-year-old should ever be hooking up with a 17-year-old, especially when someone approached you and told you too. Like, you got called out and you still fucking did it.
In fact, I've seen people defending you by saying Tana said she doesn't care, so why should any of us care? But that's not exactly what she was saying.
I don't associate or hold it with trauma because I am such a comparative person where I'm like, so many worse things have happened to me.
And even if something isn't consciously internalized as an identifiable source of trauma, the body keeps the score.
I know things manifest in ways other than me directly feeling them. Like, maybe I don't feel traumatized in certain aspects from certain things, and other things I do. But, you know, maybe they just manifest in ways other than directly feeling.
The answer to why any of us should care is that a person has tried to come forward about her experience and has been met with the most vitriolic victim blaming I've seen in years. She's been dismissed, discredited, and disbelieved before anybody ever gave her a chance.
This is like one of the things that sickens me the most. This is one of my like biggest pet peeves in the world, is victim blaming. Like, it makes me so upset no matter what the situation is. Like, if someone was a victim of something and being like, oh well, she had it coming because of the way she was dressed, or because of the nature of her personality, or who was stupid enough to fall for that, it's her fault. That shit gets me so sickened and just like fired up in the most like fiery way possible. People who victim blame, ugh. Anyways, it pisses me off. So, moving on.
Because it's Tana, which sets a horrible precedent that if a person runs out of goodwill, they lose the right to come forward with their experiences.
The most traumatizing thing of all of this really was seeing how many people like don't believe people or don't believe me. I feel so bad for all of these young girls because then they see that and then it makes them not want to come forward.
And you, Cody, are part of the reason she's been met with this reaction. Your status as one of YouTube's golden boys has made it possible for you to ignore a situation that almost anyone else would have had to respond to by now.
After seeing this video, the way that I kind of viewed the commentary genre in general is definitely a lot different. It's like literally something that has gone on in the back of my head while watching Cody's videos. It's like, oh my gosh, he's such a good person. And there's always this little nagging in the back of my head of like, do you think he's just treading carefully so that, you know, to avoid cancel culture? Or do you think he's like actually a good person? Because sometimes it seems like he'll tiptoe around things, but I'm like, just the way that he acts in his videos just seems so genuine and authentic, but it's also so easy to fake a persona online. You know, the commentary genre, it is very male dominated, and just seeing how it's kind of like a boys club for YouTube, like the Golden Boys Club or whatever, and just seeing it that way, and like how well Cody was able to hide things and how his fans like vouched for him because he does put on that persona of being such a great guy and you would never suspect it of him. It makes me question like the whole commentary genre. Like, who's to say that other people in the commentary genre don't have dirty secrets too? Birds of a feather flock together. You are who you hang out with, and I know all the commentary boys like get together, you know, and they'll tour together and things like that, and it just made me look at all the other male, specifically commentary YouTubers that I've watched over the years and that I've been fans of and looked up to and respected over the years, and I'm like, shit, well, is Danny a good person? Is Curtis a good person? Is Drew a good person? Like, can I look up to anybody that I haven't met in real life? So I'm kind of at this point in life where I'm like, damn, like I get why they say don't meet your heroes. I guess the only people I can safely look up to are people I know in real life. You really never know who someone is behind the camera.
Who swapped out Cody Co with someone that like people didn't like that much.
Oh my God.
I would be receiving so much more sympathy.
This is so true, actually. Like, literally the only reason he's gotten away with it is because so many people like him. If they replaced Cody Co photo with Kanye West or James Charles or someone controversial, like everyone would be like, oh my god, fuck that guy.
Because I know that if Tana's allegations are true, then silence would be your only option, since telling the truth would be tantamount to confessing to a crime, and lying would put you at risk of being contradicted by a witness. And like I told you at the beginning, I'm not accusing you of committing a crime, but even if what Tana says is false, your silence is still grossly incompetent at best.
This, because I liked Cody, like I really don't want to believe it, but like there's really not a lot of reasons to not believe it. This is the thing that bugs me, like Cody, like please, if you have another side of the story that we don't know, like tell it. You have a lot of diehard fans. This is really shitty news. Like I literally cried the day that I watched this the first time. I just cried in my van, and then I cried to my boyfriend after work when I got to his house. I just like fell in his arms and started sobbing. And it's like I don't want to believe it, but like I don't really have a choice at the moment. So like, come on, Cody, like speak now or forever hold your peace, because like none of us want to believe that you would do something like this, but evidence is not looking good in your favor. Come on, like what's your final say on this? Give us a reason, give us anything. But he's not. That's the concerning thing, is he's not even addressing it. He's just pretending it doesn't exist, and I can't respect that at all.
That would be your only option if you were guilty. Now, some seem to think that you're not obligated to speak up, and maybe that's what people around you are telling you as well. But from one creator to another, you absolutely have an obligation to, at the very least, call out the misogyny, the victim blaming, and all manner of cognitive dissonance that's coming from your audience.
Absolutely. Acknowledge all of it, or lose your 6.3 million fans.
And to be clear, this is cowardice, because you demonstrate it whenever there's controversy afoot. Tana's further claims make it sound like you're terrified.
I said something about it online and it was starting to surface, and he texted me like, are we good? And was like, I said yeah. And like he was like, my wedding's coming up.
You do have a history of making bad choices when you're terrified of people finding things out.
See, that's what concerns me. He's not addressing any of it online. He's not denying it. And that does sound like he's terrified. First off, why does he still have this girl's number? Like, and also just the fact that like when it was starting to surface, he fucking texts her privately and was like, oh, are we good? My wedding's coming up. Don't ruin this for me. It does sound like you're kind of terrified, Cody. So like, please address this. It's bad enough what you did, and I get that people can change. It's even worse that you're remaining silent about it. Be a man, own up to it. If you've made a mistake, maybe you've changed, maybe you haven't, but like if you make a mistake, be a man and fucking own up to it. At least talk about it, at least acknowledge it. Pussy. You're a pussy, you're a coward. Yeah, it just makes me more pissed off the more I watch this.
Like your history of using slurs.
5, nigga 6, nigga 7, nigga 8, nigga 9, nigga.
There's more clips than that, but the reason most people are blissfully unaware of them is because you posted your vague apology not on Twitter, not on YouTube, but on Patreon, despite acknowledging in your apology that the clips were surfacing on Twitter.
Patreon? You know not everyone can see that. You're literally a coward, Cody. Speak up, please, because like I don't want to believe that you're capable of something like this, but I mean, I'm seeing these clips that he's showing, I'm seeing these people's testimonies, and it's not looking good for you, Cody. It's just heartbreaking, and I wish it wasn't true. If it's not, say something, but it looks like it is, so.
Many examples of your poor handling of controversy. Not many people know that you've already lost fans over an eerily similar topic. You used to frequently feature and promote your college friend Colby Leachman in your videos, until it came out that during your school days,
that guy just looks like an asshole.
University put him on probation for, as a United States district judge would later put it, the non-consensual videotaping of a sex act with another student, showing the video to other people, lying to the police about the video, and behaving horribly to that individual and at least one other woman. To make matters worse, the woman in the video also alleged that Leachman drugged her before the recording and that she hadn't actually consented to anything at all. You had this man in your videos. You were telling us to follow him on Instagram, and at some point you did wise up, so he's no longer part of your content, but he still seems like he's very much a part of your friend group. From the continued hangout since then to inviting him to your wedding just last year, people are under the impression that you're best friends with someone who, at best, committed an illegal sex act and at worst is an alleged rapist.
This right here is what I was talking about, of like, you are who you hang out with. You stop talking about him on your channel to avoid being controversial, right? Sweeping it under the rug as you love to do. but then he's at your wedding, you're still hanging out with him behind closed doors. If you didn't cut him off, that means that what he did doesn't bother you, which is fucked. This is what I was talking about like questioning everyone else in the fucking commentary genre, because I'm like, well, who else are you hanging out with? I never cared for Noel. I never thought his videos were funny, so I never really watched or engaged with his channel. I don't know if Jarvis hangs out with Cody or not. Since I recorded this video, Jarvis actually did come out and give his take on it and talk about how like not everyone in the commentary genre is this way and how he absolutely is not okay with what's happening with Cody. So he actually did talk about that and said that he has never like hung out with Cody in his life, and that like not everyone in the commentary genre is associated necessarily. I want to trust Chad more because she's a woman, but who knows, like maybe even Chad is a fucking creep, who knows? Everyone is really great at putting up an online persona. I don't know, they're in the same genre, so who fucking knows, because I guess it's like a boys club. That's just kind of how I'm viewing the commentary genre at this point. I feel like Cody is the face of the commentary genre.
And no matter how many times people rediscover this information over the years, you refuse to say anything at all. You could clarify this, but you won't. But now your cowardice has reached a new low. You've tried speaking and you've tried silence, and now you're choosing censorship. On your YouTube channel, where you've been pumping out content nearly every day now, I couldn't find a single comment on your last video about this situation. Not even one. Comparing that to the comment section on your Instagram, where every single comment I saw was about this, it's clear that you're heavily censoring your audience on YouTube.
Not anymore. Not fucking anymore, dude. When I saw this, I went and commented on all his videos and like posted the link and was like, dude, explain yourself. And there was so many comments, like all the comments were about this. So I'm like, yes, his medias are gonna get flooded with this. At some point, he's gonna have to acknowledge it, and I'm sensing it sometime soon. Like, I get people can change, it's been a long time, but he's still hanging out with sex offenders, so it doesn't sound like he's changed that much.
I've realized the limits by now, since people have just transferred the conversation over to your wife's channel. The fact that her comment section is overrun due to your decision to stay silent about this should be all the proof you need that that decision was wrong. At this point, your silence and censorship are a response with disturbing implications. The only thing that I've seen this hidden portion of your audience asking for is the truth. So why aren't you telling it? And your silence isn't the only one that's bothering me either.
All these Reddit threads, like if my name's on any thread, it's all getting deleted.
I witnessed the heavy-handed moderation of your subreddit in real time as I researched this video. I would refresh the page and posts would suddenly be unapproved by moderators after racking up hundreds of comments, removed because they could, quote, instigate drama.
I did hear about that because I went on the Cody Co subreddit to talk about this. There was only one post about it and there was only a couple comments, and one of the comments said like, oh, are the moderators not taking this down anymore? Fuck you, Reddit moderators. If you're a Reddit moderator, get the fuck off my page. You have too much free time.
I'm sure whoever is doing this thinks they're helping you, but you should probably tell them that they're making things look 10 times worse. But it's not just your moderators, it's your friends and fellow YouTubers too. It's no coincidence that with the exception of the H3 podcast, I haven't seen a single channel over 1 million subscribers do so much as acknowledge that this situation exists.
That's why I'm glad that D'Angelo talked about this. I actually have never seen his page before this video, but I'm subscribing to him now, and he has a decent following. Like, I'm like, I don't know who this guy is, but apparently everyone else does, so I'm glad that he talked about it, and he definitely earned my subscription. So
I mean, the same channels that were rightfully calling out people like Dr. Disrespect for texting a minor, which are the same channels that are now completely ignoring a scenario with an even bigger creator being accused of doing something much worse. You can't say it's because the allegations are unconfirmed, because the channels that I'm talking about discuss rumors all the time, and this video is all the proof you need that there's still plenty to discuss even without making definitive statements. The general public may not know about the situation, but I promise you, anyone who's online enough to run a YouTube channel does.
The amount of people in this industry who like want to protect him and are like talking to me in a way where it's like they, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Or even just friends like, but I love him.
It's really hard to want to believe that this happened. Like, really, when I saw D'Angelo's video come up on my feed, like the first thought was like, oh, it's probably nothing. It's cancel culture. I literally only clicked on it out of curiosity because I didn't think Cody was capable of doing anything heinous like this, because I liked him. I liked his channel. Like, he was my favorite person to watch. Well, it really doesn't make me question everyone else on YouTube YouTube that I liked and looked up to. It's like, is anyone even real on here?
Silence on this has been so staggering that people are now saying that commentary YouTube is a boys club, aka a male-dominated space that mistreats women while enabling and protecting men. And the truth is, Cody, whether you're guilty or not, you are being enabled to ignore this and protected from having to respond.
It's unfortunate, but it's true. And I'm just glad that Chad is existent. Obviously, she's not obligated to talk about this on her channel, but it would be cool if she did, just because she's a female. It would get that female perspective on it, and like, if the fucking men aren't gonna address it, not only did Cody not address it, but if any other men, like Noel, Danny Gonzalez, if any of them knew about it, they could have talked about it at any point, but they didn't. And like, obviously it's not their obligation to, but like, if they're friends with Cody, they fucking should. I'm glad D'Angelo did. It'd be cool if Chad commented on it at all, but obviously it's not like her obligation to do so. Fun fact, I've been into the commentary genre for a long time. That's what I got into first when I started doing YouTube. I sucked at it though, but I tried to do commentary in high school, and I remember being like, I want to be the first female commentary YouTuber. And one day Chad fucking popped out of nowhere, and I was like, where did this girl come from? Why is she cooler than me? But I'm glad that I have a female commentator to watch now.
We both know that on our side of commentary YouTube, any man can easily elevate himself by dunking on misogynists in his content and espousing a generally feminist viewpoint. But if that viewpoint turns to silence the moment a situation is no longer cut and dry, then that viewpoint was a brand strategy, not a belief. The misogyny that we should be discussing is right here in the community, yet the only thing I'm hearing is a bitter, hollow silence, one that you have the power to end. I said it in the beginning, I said it in the middle, and I'll end with this. One person's testimony does not give me the right to accuse you of doing anything illegal, but I can point out the facts. It's a fact that you and Tana were around each other during the year she specified, as seen in your uncomfortable collab videos, which are still online. It's a fact that Gabby Hanna has made claims that seem to corroborate Tana's allegations against you. And it's a fact that you are suppressing your audience's knowledge of these allegations by censoring your YouTube comment section. These things may not prove Tana's allegation, but you better believe that they contextualize them in a way that you need to address. And you still have every right to address this, even now. If you have a side of the story that we're missing, then tell it. If I have my facts wrong, say something.
Exactly. This is what I'm talking about right here. Nobody wants to believe that Cody Co would do this. Nobody wants to believe this. Everyone liked Cody Co. So like, please, if you have a side that we're missing, fucking say something. It's literally the song Say Something, I'm Giving Up on You. That's like how it feels. I'm like I don't want to believe it. Like, say something, because I'm giving up on you. You're losing fans, Cody. You're losing fans.
Nobody should ever be denied the right to tell the truth, no matter what. I'm sure we can all agree that everyone should have the right to speak their truth, but that's exactly why I couldn't just sit here and watch the whole world tell Tana that it doesn't apply to her. Regardless of the truth of the situation, I'm just so disappointed either way. That is all. Goodbye, Cody.
So that's that. It's really disheartening to watch. It's hard to believe, but it's like, what reason do I have to not believe it? Even if Tana is someone who's like known for her controversy and her lies and things like that, like, this is kind of a really serious fucking thing to accuse someone of. If you accuse someone falsely of something like this, that's a crime. So she sounded genuine when she was talking about this, and her friend did too when she was talking about it. Like, this all seemed very real. It's just sad. Yeah, I just feel very let down as a fan, and I feel like all of the fans were let down. This just sucks for Tana. My heart goes out to Tana and anyone who's ever been in a situation like this, any minor who has ever been taken advantage of by someone older in a position of power. It kind of broke my heart, honestly, seeing Cody in that light. It's better to have the truth than to just keep falsely believing that he's a good guy and then watching Tana's pain go unjustified. It's unfortunate. It really is. We deserve to know the truth, and it seems like it's kind of coming out, and it was bound to eventually, but I really wish that Cody would address it. Come on, own up, come clean. He's being a fucking pussy. Secret's out. All of your fans know. Your comments on everything are being flooded. You're cornered. Like, you're gonna have to fucking come out and talk about it sooner or later. You can't just keep making videos like nothing's happened and then watch all your subscribers go down. Just know that this is really affecting your fans. Like, we had something to look forward to, someone to look up to, and it turns out the guy behind it all is not a good guy. It's even worse knowing that he's too much of a coward to even be a man and talk about it. I get it, you're scared, everyone makes mistakes. Maybe you've changed, maybe you haven't, but the way you're going about it does not make it seem like you've changed. It makes you seem like you're hiding, like you're guilty. If there's something we're not getting, if there's another side of the story we don't know, like, fucking say something. My heart goes out to anyone out there who has been taken advantage of in any way, shape, or form. Make sure you don't stay silent. Tell your story. Hope all the Cody co-fans or previous Cody co-fans are doing okay right now. I know it's kind of like soul crushing a little bit, especially like as someone who like I considered him my favorite YouTuber. It's unfortunate. Thanks for watching. I hope y'all have a good rest of your day. Disappointed in you, Cody. So hope you heal, I guess. Bye.